Fight Night Kape versus Almabayev is today, and here are my full card predictions. First fight on the card, Charles Johnson versus Ramazan Temirov. I'm going to go with Charles Johnson here. Much more experienced in the flyweight division. I believe he's fought 9 times in 2 years or something like that. Really active. In this fight, he's going to have a 7-inch reach advantage, and he is 5 inches taller. And I'm going to see that as he's going to have more weapons available. His uppercuts, his punches are going to get to the target more. In his last fight with Suma Dwarji, they were about the same frame, so it was a little more difficult for Johnson. And he also did almost finish Suma Dwarji in that fight, but it was a pretty close fight. So I'm going to say Charles Johnson wins this one probably by unanimous decision, but Temirov, pretty dangerous in the early rounds. Body shot TKO versus CJ Vergara in his debut, which I'm pretty sure was in the first round. So I'm going to say decision by Charles Johnson. Next, we have Andrea Lee versus JJ Aldridge. This screams WMMA prelim Apex fight. Andrea Lee is 13-10. Pretty sure she's lost 5 in a row. And Aldridge is 13-7, so she's not too much better. But, I mean, if it means something, Andrea Lee has a 1-inch height advantage and a 2-inch reach advantage. But I don't know, I'm going to say Aldridge wins this fight. She's a bit younger, 32, pretty sure 31, and Andrea Lee's 36, getting up there, nearing the end of her career, coming off 5 losses. Not so great, so I'm going to say JJ Aldridge by decision. Maybe Andrea Lee wins the first round. Danny Silva versus Lucas Almeida. Tricky one because I think Danny Silva's win over Josh Kaliba is pretty good, but it was a split decision. But I did find Lucas Almeida's performance over Timmy Kwamba pretty impressive. I saw lots of power from him. He has a 93% finish rate, which is pretty insane, especially at heavyweight. But Lucas Almeida, 34, getting bit up there, but still really powerful. I see him hurting Danny Silva in moments, but I'm going to say Danny Silva gets the better of him with the volume. So I'm going to say 29-28, split decision for Danny Silva. Ricardo Ramos versus Chepe Mariscal. I'm going with Chepe Mariscal here. He's pretty good. He has some good wins, like Morgan Charrier. Very close, though. Damon Jackson, I would have liked to see a finish, but 30-26 nonetheless. So, Chepe Mariscal's, he's pretty good. Ricardo Ramos coming off a split decision win over Josh Kalibau, just like Danny Silva. I think Kalibau won that fight, and then Kalibau got cut from the UFC, so that's weird. But I'm going to say Chepe Mariscal probably wins this fight. Ricardo Ramos has been guillotined before. I haven't really seen that from Chepe Mariscal, any guillotines, but like he can be submitted, Ramos, and he can be TKO'd. Probably going to go with Chepe Mariscal to take him down and TKO him. I'm going to say either late second round, early third round. Austin Lane versus Mario Pinto. This is an interesting one. Pinto has a lot of power. We saw that on the Contender Series. Austin Lane, he's pretty powerful, also athletic, but he doesn't really have the best chin. He got TKO'd by Justin Tafa. I actually think he went out in that fight. Jonata Diniz, he got the knockout over him. But Austin Lane did beat Rebellious to Spain, took him down, held him down for a bit, won the fight. But Despain's grappling is pretty abysmal, so I don't know if that means too much. but at least he mixed it up, Mario Pinto. I'm going to say Mario Pinto wins this fight. A lot younger, he's going to be hungry, looking for that finish. I'm sure he won't get taken down. He could be, but I'm going to say he defends the takedowns and eventually finishes Austin Lane. I'm going to say first round, second round KO by Mario Pinto. His left hook, pretty good weapon, so I'm going to say left hook. Danny Barlow versus Sam Patterson. Now, Danny Barlow is a favorite in this fight. I can see why. I assume some people are just expecting Danny Barlow to march down Sam Patterson and knock him out, which he could, but he couldn't do it to Nikolai Veretennikov, who came in on short notice and just lost horribly to Austin Vanderford. And Barlow missed weight for that fight. Maybe his weight cut went bad, something like that, an issue in the training camp. But maybe he's going to look better in this fight against Sam Patterson. Sam Patterson's style is mainly to take you down and submit you. It's very Michael Chiesa-esque style. But you actually, surprisingly, need to be a pretty decent fighter to hold that off. But have I seen that level of takedown defense from Barlow? Well, I haven't seen any of his opponents shoot on him. But I'm going to say Sam Patterson. His frame is pretty good. Barlow's advantages come from height and reach. Patterson's 1 inch taller in this fight. Barlow has a 1 inch reach advantage. But I'm going to say Sam Patterson can actually maybe hold his own on feet, but might be difficult there. So I'm going to say mixes it up and eventually finds a submission. Maybe third round by Sam Patterson. So third round submission, Sam Patterson. Hyder Emil versus William Gomez. William Gomez wins this fight 9 out of 10 times. I know Emil's record is pretty 10-0. He's 34, getting a bit off there, but it doesn't really matter too much. He looked good in his last fight. He unleashed that barrage of punches against Lee Jong-yu, I'm pretty sure his name was. But William Gomez does not play that game. He will just back up. He did kind of, at times, pick apart Joe Anderson Brito, which I thought was very impressive. I kind of think he lost that fight, but he still did impress me in that one. So I'm going to say he kind of picks apart Hyder Emil, maybe even finishes him. But I'm going to say a dominant decision from William Gomez. Nasrat Haqparast versus Esteban Ribovics. I'm going with Esteban Ribovics here. He impressed me a lot against Daniel Zellhuber, which I think is a pretty good prospect. Eventually he got to him, hurt him. He couldn't get the finish, but Zellhuber is pretty durable, so that's that. And, well, I don't know if his chances to put out Nasrat are pretty high. I mean, he did put out Terrence McKinney with a head kick, which was pretty good. I think his options are pretty good in this fight. Nasrat Haqparast, I wasn't very impressed against Jared Gordon. I think Jared Gordon won that fight pretty clearly. Nasrat kind of just stays pretty basic style, technical, and I see Esteban kind of making it a brawl. And eventually, I'm going to say third round TKO from Esteban Ribovics here. Cody Brundage versus Julian Marquez as the co-main event in Fight Night. I mean, we know Brundage from UFC 300. Kind of just there to get fed to Bo Nickel. That was on the main card for some reason. That really annoyed me. But anyway, I'm gonna say Cody Brundage wins this fight. I mean, a lot younger, 30. Julian Marquez, 34. But I mean, he is coming off some pretty bad losses. Zachary Reese KO'd in 20 seconds. Gregory Rodriguez, he got knocked out pretty badly. And Marc-Andre Barriou, I don't really like that. 9-5 now. A bit older. Yeah, I don't really like Julian Marquez's chances in this fight. I know Brundage, not very impressive, but he did knock out Trayshawn Gore, which is pretty decent. He did slam KO Zachary Reese, which is pretty good. Against Abdul Razak Al Hassan, he got elbowed to the back of the head nonstop, so that's pretty bad from Al Hassan. I'll be honest, I don't think Brundage should be blamed for that entirely. But I'm going to say Brundage wins this fight. I mean, maybe gets a takedown, lands some punches. I'm going to say decision from Cody Brundage. Now to the main event, Manel Kape versus Asu Almabayev. I'm going to go with Manel Kape here. I'm going to say he's a much better striker than Almabayev, who will throw one flashy kick once in a while. I'm pretty sure he's solid on the feet, but Manel Kape, very experienced. He was over at Ryzen, beat Kaya Sakura. Pretty good, TKO'd him. TKO'd Bruno Silva in his last fight, which is a very good performance by him. Asu Almabayev last fought Matej Nicolau, which was very low output in the first round. Nicolau threw 2 strikes. But eventually he dropped him and controlled Nicolau. But I don't really see much finishing potential in this fight from Almabayev, especially in the grappling, which is his way to win. He couldn't finish Jose Johnson or CJ Vergara. I would say you need to finish those guys if you want to submit Manel Kape. I don't really see that in this fight. He also did almost get submitted by Nicolau, but escaped because his shorts came off. I'm going to say Manel Kape finds a TKO in probably round 4. I'm going to say he eventually gets Asu tired from all the grappling. I'm going to say Asu Almabayev actually controls Manel Kape for a good bit. But then he's going to be tired, and I'm going to say Manel Kape unleashes a combo to finish Asu Almabayev off in round 4. So that's what I'm going to go with for my prediction. Last thing I'm going to say, UFC needs to get out of the apex. We see what crowded arenas can do. Look at the Tampa Fight Night. Look at the Seattle Fight Night. 8 finishes on the prelims and the Seattle card. Crowded arenas do something. They create a lot more energy, and there's a lot more pressure on the fighters. But in the apex, there's not really much. There's like 60 people in there, I think. Yeah, not a whole lot. So it gets pretty stale, honestly. Crowd arenas are really good. If it means having a few less cards a year, whatever. We just need to see talent in the UFC, because we can do a lot better than this. So that's what I'm going to say, and goodbye.